Alright, shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakat Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. Alright, got an article by the Telegraph. Germany should hold Dexit vote on leaving EU, says AfD leader. Alice Weidel says if an alternative for Germany government cannot get reform of the European Commission, quote unquote, it should let the people decide. Britain was dead right, quote unquote, to leave the European Union, and Germany should hold its own, quote unquote, Dexit vote. The leader of the hard right Alternative for Germany, AfD, has said. Alice Weidel of the poll-topping AfD said she would push for a referendum on EU membership if her party came to power. Ms. Weidel said the vote would be held if an AfD government could not get secure reforms to curb overreach by the unelected European Commission, quote unquote, the unelected, quote unquote, European Commission. Quote unquote, if a reform isn't possible, if we fail to rebuild the sovereignty of the EU member states, we should let the people decide, just as Britain did, quote unquote, she told the Financial Times. We could have had a referendum on Dexit, quote unquote, a German exit from the EU. She added, it's a model for Germany, quote unquote, that one can make a sovereign decision like that. Winning such a referendum, even if it met strict German laws for plebiscites, would be a tall order, with a 90% of people in favor of continued membership. A recent poll found that less than half, 45%, of AfD members would vote for Dexit. The AfD is leading the polls in all 5 East German states ahead of regional elections in September. The party's results in June's European Parliament election will also be watched amid predictions for success for Eurosceptic parties across the bloc, including in France, Austria, and the Netherlands. Eurosceptic basically means that they don't fuck with the European Union like that. That's basically what it means. It is polling nationally at 22% behind the center-right opposition Christian Democratic Union, by the head of all three parties and Chancellor Olaf Scholz, struggling coalition government. However, the AfD's current success does not guarantee it a place in the future government. Establishment parties have ruled out coalition deals with it, and it does not lead any of Germany's 16 states because of the cordon sanitaire or firewall by other parties. Ms. Weidel admitted that the AfD will not be able to take power in Berlin before 2029, but said a future role in government was inevitable. She predicted that the CDU, the center-right party of former Chancellor of Angela Merkel, would be the first to break the firewall of establishment forces and ally with the AfD. She said the CDU won't be able to maintain its firewall in the long term. We can form a clear right-wing party, and the CDU can't refuse to accept that in the long term, especially in the eastern states. Once in power, Ms. Weidel said the party would reform tax laws, slim down the state, and then Germany switch to renewable energy. The AfD is classified as right-wing extremists by the intelligence services in East German states. There were calls to ban the party after it was revealed AfD politicians attended a secret November meeting of far-right groups. Extremists in Potsdam drew up plans for expelling millions of immigrants, including those with German passports. The echoes of Nazi ideology in the party shocked Germany. Anti-AfD demonstrations were held across the country. Mrs. Weidel, party leader since 2022, was not at the meeting, fired an aide who was. It was just, quote unquote, it was just an attempt to criminalize the very idea of repatriating people lawfully who don't have leave to remain here or subject to a deportation order, she said in an attack on Corrective, the media organization that revealed the meeting. Quote unquote, the AfD is a party that stands for enforcing this country's laws. The AfD is pro-Russian and is accused of being soft on Vladimir Putin. Ms. Weidel said the 1.1 million Ukrainian refugees in Germany should not have been allowed to draw benefits. Quote unquote, it's clear when the war ends, all Ukrainians will have to go home. They will be needed anyway to help rebuild their country. The AfD was set up in 2013 by conservative economists angered at bailouts in the Eurozone crisis. Despite the recent scandal, it has remained popular thanks to part to Mr. Schultz's failures on the economy. And let me get... This is why there are several reasons why they want to succeed. One reason is because they don't want, because the European Commission is overreach. Another reason is because of the refugees. Another reason is because Slovakia. Another reason is because what was first set up by conservative economists angered at bailouts in the Eurozone crisis. They're bailing out these weaker European countries. And let me get Daniel chapter 2 verse 10. Slovakia. It gets further down. Or yeah, it's further down. Way further down. We're in the fourth kingdom, which is the revived Roman Empire. America, the U.S., and the EU countries / NATO countries. That's the fourth kingdom is the Roman Empire, but we're at the iron and clay part. The first part was just iron. Verse 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it the strength of the iron, for much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Verse 42, and as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Verse 43, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. This is the last kingdom. Verse 44, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. But let me get Let me expound on for the verses 41 to 43 because that's what really applies here. But you got the feet and toes. We're in the feet and toes part of part of potter's clay and part of iron. The kingdom at whereas thou saw the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but now there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, so shall be divided. You can see now first Britain and now Germany. Now there's a lot of people in Germany that want to basically break off or succeed from the EU. So it's divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. You know, because it's Rome, we got that military strength, that teeth. Verse 42, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so shall the kingdom be partly strong, partly broken, because they have to act like they're for the people. They have to act like they're for the people, so they have to be so-called democratic, partly strong because of its military. And the economy used to be strong, but now not so much. Verse 43, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, which is the heathens. They're the seed of the wicked. But they're going to mingle or like mix themselves with the seed of men, which is the heathens. But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And you see these immigrants are coming over there and they're having all kinds of problems with them because immigrants come with their culture and because they ruined their that country, man, through their policies. Now immigrants are coming because Esau, interfered and ruined their country, man. Basically, ruined their economy, with their policies, destroyed their country. Basically, made it as a wilderness. Now now you have these heathens, and there's some Jakes from West Africa as well. But you got a lot of heathens, a lot of Ishmael and Ham coming to an Elam, coming to Europe. And once they get there, they got like free movement around Europe. And they're coming with their culture, their way of doing things. And they're not becoming westernized like that, they're keeping their way of doing things. Because there's like such a large amount of them. And they come from areas that's not westernized. So they're keeping their way of doing things. And it's causing problems in Europe. And so they're not cleaving one to another, man. Even as iron is not mixed with clay, they're not cleaving one to another. So it's also divided in that way. And that's why a lot of Germans, they want to leave the European Union. And this just shows that, and it's also, they said it's pro-Russia, meaning they're easier on Russia than other parties. That right there is Obadiah 1, and sit at 7 because the man is that these are Edomites, man. These are Edomites as well as the American so-called white people, the majority of them, right? Except for the Israelite foreigners, but you know what I'm saying? The so-called white man in general in America, that's Esau. So same way with the so-called white man in Germany in general, that's Esau. Obadiah 1:7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. You know, they wanna, people in Germany know about what the U.S. did to the Nord Stream pipeline. They know what they did to it, and even their government knows, but their government is scared of Babylon, so they're not doing anything for now. But it just show you that mindset exists there in Germany, and soon this is gonna happen. All the EU and NATO countries soon they're gonna turn against Babylon because they recognize EU as like controlled by Babylon. That's also why they want out, because the EU is controlled by Babylon. But soon it won't. Soon it won't be, because all the countries there are going to be against Babylon. Romans 17:16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Verse 17, for the Most High power Yahweh hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, and to the word of the Most High power Yahweh shall be fulfilled. Verse 18, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And you know what? It's also, because these countries were made to follow U.S. policy or Babylonian policy to of destroying these countries, and now they have to deal with the consequence of these countries being destroyed, which is all these immigrants, right? And now there's people in these countries that are kind of resenting the U.S. for that, and for that Nord Stream shit, it just made it worse. You know, so they're eventually, all of them are gonna, even Britain is gonna turn on the whore, which is America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. There you go. That's what's gonna happen eventually. But right now, they're trying this, succeed to, from the EU. First they're trying to work with the EU, and if not, they're gonna secede from the EU, or try to. They're gonna try to break off, just like Britain did. And you even have that happening here. Well, you even have like whispers of that in Babylon. Texas wanting to leave Babylon. You know, so this kingdom, or queen, I should say, is clearly divided. Well, queendom, it's clearly divided. The Quayan is where you get the word queen, which means you break that word down, it means prostitute, whore. And is not the great whore? Exactly. Mother of harlots. What do they push around the world? It's all right for these broads to be whores. That's how you know as well. Yeah, verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And that's all this place pushes out. So the Most High Yahweh, he's bringing this place to a complete halt, man. He's bringing it to an end. And this is one way he's bringing it to an end. It's a process, but it's speeding up because we're almost at the end. Because if the Most High Yahweh didn't cut the time short, verse 22, and except these days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So that's why you see time flying, you see these prophecies speeding up. And this is just another sign of what's coming. So with that, and also sign, this, we write about this country, this current setup being the feet and the 10 toes. Well, also, it's another way how you could tell. But yeah, with that, by we I mean GMS and like-minded brothers. But with that, I hope this video was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there. Spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. Shalom, stay strong. Ababa Ball. Wa Yasharala forever. Oh, Ababa Ball. Ababa Ball. That to Babylon. Abala Adawamium. That to these other nations. Abala Kawayim. Well, Abala Adawamium is that to these Edomites. And Abala Kawayim. That to these other nations. Wa and Abala Ayabim Nawa. That's to the rest of our enemies. The rest of our enemies. Well, it means that to our enemies, but that's to the rest of our enemies. Because we already mentioned the Edomites, Babylon, and the other nations. So what's left is you 2/3 of you so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans, and and 2/3 of you Israelite foreigners here in the States, looking like unto the speckled bird. As well as to Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth. Shalom. And you so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all are mainly who the Hebrew Israelites are today. Alright, so Shalom, stay strong, Ababa Ball, Wa Yasharallah forever.